YouTube, it's Sunday.
Why are you such a copycat?
I hope so, at least. I haven't been doing a lot of Sunday videos lately, even though I've been filming a couple, but like I haven't been putting them up on Sundays because Wi-Fi issues. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I talked about this the last time I filmed what? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I talked about this the last time I filmed videos. Hey, what's up? It's Sunday during the middle of the week, and I've decided that I'm gonna film a story time for you guys because it's been a little while, and also just like, why not? I also have a new like temporary background. This is probably what I'm gonna be filming in front of until I leave in about a week and a half, and I'm gonna start trying to like pre-film a lot again, so like you might see a lot of videos in front of this thing, but you know, we'll see. Also, I made a purchase today that I kind of wanted to debut in the middle of a Let's Get Shit-Faced for reasons that you'll be able to see in just a minute. Yeah, I was walking through Walmart, walking through all the Halloween decorations and everything, and I saw this and I could not pass it up, and it's obviously going to be a thing that I use for Let's Get Shit-Faced, but like I just have water in it today because I'm in the desert, you guys. It's really dry and I need water, okay? Don't judge me, thank you. But I figured, you know, since you can like hear the ice clinking around on the inside, I should probably just go ahead and show you. It's the best thing I've ever bought with my money ever. Aside from my camera, of course. But yeah, seriously, look, it's like Let's Get Sheet-Faced. It's literally Let's Get Shit-Faced, but like Sheet-Faced, which is a pun, and that's also my brand. And then also ghosties, because I'm haunted as fuck, and I just like wine and stemless wine glasses, and it's so big, and it's just, I love it. Plus, the old wine glass I used to use for all my Let's Get Shit-Faced was glass, and it was beautiful, and it was huge, and I loved it so much. It was from one of my best friends, Lindsay. And then my cat, Danny, it was like sitting up on the windowsill, and she knocked it off, and it broke on the ground. And honestly, I was so sad I kind of cried, and I have not had like a wine glass that I've just wanted to use every single time since then. Until now. Plus it's plastic, so Danny can't break it, and drunk me can't break it. So it's just a win-win. Or is it a wine-wine? I tried that one earlier. It didn't work earlier either. I don't know why I tried to do it again, but whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna put this down so you guys stop hearing ice clinking because that's annoying. Alright, so anyways, this is a story that I have like kind of wanted to tell for a long time. For a while, actually, I forgot it happened. And then I remembered and was like, oh my god, that would be a great one. It's about someone who I used to call a best friend back in high school, and he turned out to be one of those people who was like kind of a piece of shit, but like one of those that like hid it really well. So when you first meet him, you love him, your parents love him, everyone is like, oh my god, what a great guy. And then the more that you talk to him, the more you're like, oh. So I didn't really plan a name to give him before this. I think maybe we'll call him like Todd. I don't know, have I used Todd before? Whatever, Todd is gonna be his name. So Todd and I were friends in high school. We met in like, I think theater or chorus, one of the two. Anyway, he was a best friend of mine and Connor's. We all hung out together a lot. There were two trios that I was like a part of, and one of them was with someone else who I definitely have a lot of stories to tell about later, but like he was, you know, in there in between when we were like friends with that other person, and sometimes at the same time, but like he was like, we were like, oh yeah, we're like a best friend trio. Now let me be clear, it was kind of obvious most of the time that I was friends with him that he kind of had a crush on me, and listen, I thought he was a really cool dude and I wanted to be his friend, and I didn't want to date him, and so I was very careful. I know back in high school I accidentally flirted with people, apparently, whatever that even means, I don't know, but like a lot of people thought I was flirting with a lot of people. I was very careful around him not to flirt with him, trying not to give him the wrong idea, because like I didn't want him to ask me out, because I didn't want to have to tell him no, because that's what I would have said. I just did not feel that way about him. I wasn't attracted to him. I just thought he was a good friend, you know what I mean? So, okay, so anyway, Todd, Connor, and I are really good friends. And then after a while, Todd and Connor kind of start drifting apart, and I found out why later, and that's not important here. But so for a while, you know, it was just like Todd and me that were really close. Of course, I was so close with Connor. Connor's been my best friend since freshman year of high school, but that's a different story. So yeah, so I was just like really close with Todd for a little while, and you know, it got to the point every time I saw him, he wanted to give me a hug, like he always just wanted to hang out with me. Granted, the hug thing, that's kind of who I was back in high school. I always just hug people, which is weird now because I don't really like being touched that much unless I'm really comfortable with you, and it depends on the day. Like if I'm really anxious, literally do not touch me, you know what I mean? Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. That's what I get for filming at, what is it, like 10 p.m. or something? I don't know. It's a full moon, I have a lot of energy. But yeah, anyway, so after a while, he started like saying things that just kind of made me feel a little bit weird, you know, just like making comments, like sometimes he'd make sexual comments about me, but like would try and like play it off like a joke, or like he would just make comments about other people, or say that like, you know, talk about, I don't even know how to describe most of the things he was saying. It's just, you know, when like, if you're a girl, you know probably what I'm talking about, when you're talking to a guy and he just says something that's just weird and you don't really know why it's so weird, but it just like weirds you out, you know what I mean? And like that started happening a lot. But I tried not to pay attention to it because like my parents were in love with him. They kept telling me like, oh, like he's got feelings for you, just go out with him, like even if you're not into him, like he's such a good guy, you know, he'd treat you like a queen, he adores you, blah blah blah. And like, no, that was not gonna happen. That was a weird thing in the first place. But the longer I went without dating him, the weirder things got. So he just kind of started getting like really touchy-feely and really personal, and this is kind of just like normal. Well, it shouldn't be normal, but it's kind of just like normal guy who wants to get in your pants stuff, who like is trying to pretend to be a friend but also really just wants to like fuck you. So, okay. Anyway, that was high school, and I'm just gonna skip over a long period of time. I just wanted you guys to kind of know who I'm talking about, know the situation, and then now we skip to when I'm in college. It was freshman year of college. I was already broken up with Greg from the previous story times. I still have another one to tell on him about whenever we broke up, but there's a part 1 and part 2 up if you guys want to go check it out. Yeah, self-promo aside, anyway, I was in college, I was a freshman, I wasn't dating Greg anymore, and yeah, we hadn't really talked since I graduated because I just didn't really feel a need to. Like, he had been making me feel kind of uncomfortable for a while and I couldn't really put my finger on it, so I just kind of like didn't reach out. But at some point that year, he started reaching out to me. I think we started talking on Facebook again. He just like randomly messaged me and was like, oh my god, hey, I miss you, it's been so long, like what's up, how are things going, you know, that whole thing. And I responded because I'm polite, and also like he did mean a lot to me at one point. Like it seemed like an innocent message. Back then I was also just the kind of person to like respond whether or not I wanted to, which caused a lot of problems. Anyway, so eventually he winds up asking if he can call me in the middle of the night because he was like having a bad night or something, and he just like wanted to talk to me. And me being the kind of person who like, oh, when my friends are in need, even though he wasn't really even my friend that much anymore, I was still like, oh yeah, sure, here's my phone number. And so he called me, and we wound up staying on the phone for like 2 hours. Now listen, I don't really like talking on the phone. Phone calls make me nervous. I don't like them. Which is why it's ironic that I worked as a telemarketer for a while. But again, different story. But yeah, I don't really like talking on the phone, but like, I will admit it was a nice conversation. In the moment, I did enjoy the conversation. I wasn't really the whole time like, oh, just get me off this phone call, you know what I mean? Like, I was enjoying myself. It had been a long time since we talked, and most of the stuff he was saying wasn't really making me feel weird. Like, obviously, occasionally there were comments like, oh, but you're so beautiful, why do you think that about yourself? And I would just ignore it, you know, because so yeah, we talked for about 2 hours, and then after that he like messaged me on Facebook and was like, wow, that was really nice to talk to you for so long, like maybe we can do that again. And I was like, okay, yeah, that was fun, blah blah blah. So yeah, that night passed, and then all of a sudden he started just like talking to me all the time. Like, he would message me on Facebook, he would call me, just like constantly trying to talk to me. And like, it got to the point where sometimes I would have to like ignore his messages, you know, like just this doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of time passed, but I was still like, he didn't say anything too out of the way. Like, I just had weird vibes about him, but like, back then I didn't really trust my gut that much, which again, got me into a lot of trouble. So then, there was one night that he called me, I think it was like 4 in the afternoon or something like that, and he asked me if I was at my dorm. I don't remember. I think maybe in a past phone call he had like asked what dorm I lived in. I don't know. But like, I don't remember him asking me which dorm I lived in, you know what I mean? Like, he just like asked if I was in my dorm, and I was like, yeah, I just got back from class, like I'm just chilling, what's up? And he's like, oh, nothing, blah, 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 blah. And we were just talking whatever. Then, 30 minutes later, maybe a little bit less, I don't remember exactly, he called me again and was like, hey, what room are you in? And I was like, what? And he said, no, yeah, what room are you in? You said you live in Barnhart, right? Yeah, why? Does it matter? And he said, oh, I came here to surprise you. I wanted to see you. Okay, I'll come let you in. So this dude is at my dorm, and I go downstairs and I open the door and I let him in, and he's carrying a bouquet of flowers. I had tried so hard not to give him the wrong impression, and at that point I was starting to be like, should I just have ignored him in the first place? Like, maybe I shouldn't let him call me. Like, what did I do? And really, I mean, I didn't do anything, but it just, anyway, I was really uncomfortable, but I didn't want to be like, you have to leave, you know? I could have been like, oh, I actually have plans tonight, I'm supposed to go meet with a friend, but I didn't, because I was just flustered and uncomfortable and I didn't know how to react. So I led him up to my room. He actually had his mom drive him there. He lived back in my hometown, which was like an hour from where my college was, and he had his mom drive him the whole way, or maybe he drove his mom's car. Either way, he came an hour to come see me at my dorm, unannounced. So he's in my room, we're talking, I'm very uncomfortable and I want to make him leave, but like I don't want to, like, I don't know. Anyway, so he's on my bed and I'm just like talking but still trying to not be as uncomfortable, because really, like, if this guy really is just like my friend, he just like brought me flowers, like that's a little weird, but you know, he just wanted to show up and surprise me, right? Even though he didn't know what building I lived in and he drove an hour to come see me on a night. Honestly, the only reason it felt so weird was because of who he was, and I was just getting weird vibes. And the fact that he never got the message that I wasn't into him, I guess, I don't know. So after a little while, like I said, we were sitting on my bed, we were talking in my dorm, I had the flowers like on a desk or something, and then he tells me why he decided to come. He was like, oh yeah, confession time, I didn't just come here to say hi. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, you drove an hour, that's a lot, just to come say hi, you know what I mean? Like, you could have just called me. Side note real quick, he was a part of this organization that was like a Christian thing, and it had to do with a lot of like homeschool kids or like missionary kids, and like it was just kind of a little community, and yeah. So he brought up that community that he was a part of, and he was like, so we're having our own little prom, and I was wondering if you would go as my date. What? So he asked me to go with him, and like, I didn't really want to go, but like he just drove an entire hour and brought me flowers, and I know, like, I didn't owe him a yes. Like now especially I know that, but back then I would have felt bad being like, no thank you, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll go as your friend date. I don't think that's exactly how I phrased it, but I tried to make it clear that like, yeah, sure, I'll go with you as your friend. And he seemed to accept that answer, was like, alright, cool, well anyway, I gotta go, but it was really great seeing you, can't wait to pick you up for prom. So, you know, he hugged me and he left, and I had the flowers and I felt uncomfortable, but at the very least, I had made it clear, like, yes, I'll go with you, but only as your friend. So like, that was a thing, that was established. Like, so I thought I didn't really have to worry, you know? I'm just gonna go to this cool dance with one of my like old friends, with a bunch of people I used to know in high school who are part of the same community. Like, it's gonna be fun. So then fast forward, the day comes that it's time for prom. I think I just borrowed like one of my sister's dresses for my brother's wedding or something. Like, they got married the summer before I went to college, and I had a dress, but like I didn't really want to wear it again, plus it was like, it didn't really fit me quite the same as it used to, so I just borrowed my sister's, and I'll insert pictures here. But yeah, so it came time, I was at my parents' house, which, you know, was closer to where the prom thing was, so, for some reason I feel like he didn't pick me up at my parents' house though, which is weird. Maybe he picked me up at my dorm, but that would be a long way, and I used to always go home on the weekends out here, so most likely he came to my parents' house, or maybe I like met him somewhere, I don't know. But either way, you know, I was in my dress, he was in his little suit, and then we like drove to a nursing home where his mom worked because his mom wanted to see us and take pictures. Just a little fact about me, I get really freaked out in dentist offices, doctor's offices, psych wards, nursing homes, any place like that. Like, I don't know what it is, they just scare the shit out of me. So I was like already kind of uncomfortable, and then like the nursing home, and I'm like, I don't like this, like I already know your mom, but like now she's like taking pictures of us as dates, and like I wanted to make it clear that we're going as friends, but like she's having us take pictures like we're going as dates, like, you know, arm around me, like, oh look all cute and happy to be together, like squishing closer. It was really uncomfortable. So we go to the community center thing where, you know, everyone was supposed to meet up first, and we were gonna like take a big group picture, which we did, and then we were supposed to go, we were gonna go to, I think it was a place called the Melting Pot, and then after that we were gonna go to one of the people's houses and like dance there. So even though we could have used the community center for like the prom area, which I don't know why we didn't, we just like, we went out to eat as a group, and then we went to someone else's house and hung out there. So anyway, we took like a big bus once we all like, you know, got in and everything else, and I only knew a few of the people there, which kind of sucked because I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool because I'll know a lot of the people there. I knew like 2 other people there, so I was still like kind of had to like hang out with him the whole time, which like, yes, I did go with him, but you know, as friends, and so I didn't want to spend every second there with him. But whatever. So anyway, so we get on the bus, and on the bus ride up to the melting pot, and again, it didn't really make sense because the melting pot was all the way in Charlotte, which was like 5 minutes from my school, and yet the community center was like an hour the other way in Waxhaw, or that area-ish, and then we drove from there all the way to the melting pot in Charlotte. I don't know why we just didn't go somewhere else, whatever. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong melting pot, but that was the first time I'd ever been, so I don't know, but I think it's the one that was literally 5 minutes from my school. I don't know, anyway. So yeah, so we were on the bus and we're, you know, sharing a little bench seat together. I had like the window seat because I got in first, you know, whatever. And so we're talking a little bit. I'm also trying to like talk to the other people there because like, you know, yeah, he's a friend of mine, but he's also an old friend, and like, you know, we don't really click the same way anymore, and I still was a little bit awkward, and I just wanted to like hang out with multiple people there, not just him, you know. But he kept like trying to just talk to me and like just didn't really want to talk to anyone else there. And so whatever, like we're there together, we're in the same seat, so we're talking. And then at one point he just reaches over and grabs my hand. And I sit there awkwardly for a second, and then I kind of just like slide my hand out of his, and he gets this look on his face. He kind of got this like, I'm sorry, what do you think you're entitled to hold my hand because we're going to prom together as friends? No, you're not entitled to hold my hand. I don't want you to hold my hand. Don't touch me. Leave me alone. What are you doing? So that just kind of did start off the night really well anyway. And like there were already a few reasons why I was a little uncomfortable for that. That just kind of set it off. From there, like before that, I was like, okay, you know what? This kind of sucks, but it's fine because we're here as friends. So I can just hang out. It won't be a big deal. It's just gonna be a fun night in which we happen to wear fancy clothes. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, so after that, we drove to the melting pot. We sat next to each other because you're supposed to sit next to your date. I don't know, it was a weird rule, but whatever. The thing about the melting pot is there's not really a lot there for me to eat. Like the first course is like vegetables, but like it's mostly like broccoli and stuff like that. Like I liked the potatoes, but like we were all sharing the whole thing. So like it's not like it could be like, oh, give me all the potatoes because I don't really like anything else here, you know what I mean? So I ate a little bit of that and it was like dipped in cheese. Then the second course is like, it's just a bunch of meat. That's all it is. I think there may have been like just a little bit more potatoes, maybe. I don't think there were. It was just a bunch, like we just each got like a big ass plate full of meat to like dip in, because it was like, I just realized I didn't say this earlier, but the melting pot is a fondue restaurant, and so all the little portions are little, and like, yeah, so your plate, like all 3 plates are supposed to like fill you up. So I'm a vegetarian, so obviously I gave my meat plate to Todd and to whoever else wanted anything off of it, because I wasn't gonna eat it. And then dessert came along, and it was like a chocolate pot, and then there were like much more things to dip in there, but like it meant that most of the food that I ate was like all dessert, which is fine. It just, you know, I didn't eat dinner before that because I thought I was gonna eat more real food, but it doesn't matter. Honestly, the melting pot was still like a really fun experience, so like that was not even a huge issue. And then we went to the house party after. Or I guess like the actual prom part, but like it was essentially a little house party in fancy dresses. I don't even know whose house it was. I don't remember. I feel like I knew at the time, but I don't remember whose it was now. But it was this really nice like 2-story house. Everyone had to put like their purses and stuff in an upstairs room, and then we like shut that room. And there was like an area outside that like they had like fairy lights up and everything, and they had like a big yard that was like set up for like a prom. They had like music playing. It was really actually pretty cool. And then on the inside there was like a big room of like, there was just like food and appetizers and like soda and stuff like that everywhere. And then off in the living room there were like games that you could play. Like it was set up really nice, and like the parents were there and everything else. It was kind of cool. If I had been there with anyone but Todd, I would have had a blast. Okay, and it didn't help that there was also one other person there who I had had a crush on, like on and off throughout high school, and every time I saw him, even though I was like, you're kind of an asshole, I still always was just like, heart eyes. So yeah, that didn't help anyway. So yeah, so we got there and, you know, we're walking around, and my mom had been like, well, you know, you have to at least give him one dance, right? Which like, you don't owe anyone anything, even if they take you to prom, but I was gonna give him one dance because, yeah, like, you know, we did come together, like, yeah, we were just coming as friends, I thought, but still, you know, it's prom, and like you should dance together at least once. Like I don't think that you have to do a slow dance, but like it's nice at least to dance with them in some fashion. Even if you're just doing like disco the whole time, you know, it still counts as something. So yeah, so we went outside and we did like one dance, and he tried to do like swing dancing with me, but I didn't know how to swing dance back then. I do a little bit now and I really like it. Back then I had never done it. So whatever. So he was like trying to teach me how to swing dance, and it was kind of fun because like swing dancing is just fun. Like, I don't know, I'm a white person and it's showing a lot right now, but I really like swing dancing. Anyway, not the point. So he was teaching me a little bit of it, and like we just did it to like one song, and then I like was like, all right, well, song's over, I'm gonna go back inside now. And he's like, oh no, come on, don't you want to dance again? And I was like, no, not really, like I'm tired, which was kind of true, but I also just didn't really want to dance, you know, and I didn't really want to dance with him again because the song that we danced to before, it was swing dancing, and it was kind of close and kind of like a partner dance, but it was a little bit faster and it was to a more upbeat song. The song that played next was a slow song, and I bounced because I am not about to slow dance with you. I know we came here together, but we came here as friends. I am not doing a slow dance. I am not giving you a chance to try and kiss me or something like that because that's what happened last time, but also because you already tried to hold my hand in the bus on the way over. No. So I go inside, he like seems kind of like ticked off, but whatever. So I go in, and there's a group in the living room that was playing a game. It's called Apples to Apples. It's essentially like the family-friendly version of Cards Against Humanity, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know which one was made first, whatever. So I go in there and play Apples to Apples. I have a blast, but he stayed outside most of the time. I didn't see him much the rest of the party until close to the end when it was almost time to go. Now, I don't remember why I was the first one out, but I was for some reason. Like, it was time for everyone to go and everyone started packing up, but I don't know, I guess I just like only had a bag and I just like ran upstairs and grabbed it, I don't know. But I went ahead and started walking out, and I did not like look for him to walk out with him. Like, that was not the plan at all. I just started walking, and this house is out in the country. And out in the country, there are no street lights, especially in like the country, which is where this house was. Like out in Waxhaw, in the sticks, like no street lights. But it was also, because it was a big nice house, this happens a lot out in the country. Like big nice houses will be way back in the woods and have a long ass driveway. And then there's like a little side street, and that's where you like get into, you know, but then to get on the main road again, you have to like exit. So I like left the house and was walking up like through the woods, like through that like long driveway, and the bus was parked on the little side road. So yeah, I get out to the bus and I just kind of stand out beside the bus, just like waiting for everyone else to get there. I believe I pulled out my phone and was gonna like text my mom or something and let her know that I was like on my way home. So, I don't know, I guess for some reason everyone took a lot longer than I did. I walked really fast back then. I got ready and just kind of went right out the door, didn't wait on anyone. I don't know, maybe everyone was planning on coming out in a group, but for whatever reason, I was out there for a long time. But it wasn't just me out there. When I exited the house, I started walking. I didn't see anyone behind me. I didn't really look. When I stopped next to the bus, I pulled out my phone and instantly went to start texting my mom. And almost immediately, Todd walks up right in front of me. I guess he left at the same time as I did. He like must have followed me out the door, and I mean, maybe it was a coincidence, but it didn't feel like a coincidence, and it was pitch black out here. Legitimately to the point I couldn't tell it was him when he was first walking out. Like, I just saw a person, like I heard footsteps, and so I like shut my phone screen off and was just staring at the silhouette walking toward me until he said something like, hey, or like, it's me, or something like that. I don't know exactly, but whatever. Even if he didn't follow me out, he would have known that it was me because I had my phone screen on my face. So I'm like, oh, hi. Instantly uncomfortable, instantly like hoping someone else is gonna come out right behind him because I was under the impression we were all leaving right then. That was not the case. So I'm standing there, and he like comes up to me and says like, you know, I had a really good time tonight, like thank you for coming with me. And I'm like, yeah, it was fun, like trying to keep distance. But again, there's woods like right behind me, it's pitch black, like I don't want to like step too far away, and I can barely even see where he is. So he takes another step toward me and asks if he can have a hug. Now I noticed that his voice sounded different than it had before. In the past, every time he asked for a hug, it was just kind of like, oh hey, can I have a hug? Like, you know, like all kind of flirty, but like also like, yeah, well, we're friends, so sure. It did not sound like that. It was like, you know, like TV shows when it's like that quiet moment where they're like trying to like set up the mood and they're like, hey, can I have a hug? Now, okay, that's not, people don't ask that in TV shows, but still, it was that same kind of tone. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm uncomfortable, but I wasn't gonna be like, no. I should have, but I wasn't because I was stupid. I don't know. So I like stand there and let him hug me. And I try to just do like a hug and then let go, you know, like that's like a regular, like, yeah, we're friends, okay, this was fun, thanks. No, I tried to let go and he just didn't. He like pulled me extra tight, like squeezed me, whatever, like was just there, like, and I felt like, again, really uncomfortable. I've used that word so many times, but I didn't know what to do. Like I felt really uncomfortable and really awkward, was not into this, but I didn't know how to speak up for myself back then, which, like I said, got me into a lot of trouble. And so I should have said like, okay, let go of me now, like, you know, something like that, or like stepped physically back. But I didn't. Like I just kind of stood there and like I wasn't even hugging him back. My arms were just like at my side and I'm just kind of doing this thing and he's like hunched over me and like squeezing me. And so I'm just kind of hoping that he lets go soon, hoping that someone comes, and I hear him just kind of like like sigh into it. And so we're standing there and he's hugging me and I feel so uncomfortable and I just want it to end. Like I don't want this, I don't want him, I want to go home, like the party's over, like just let me go. And he pulls his head back and tries to kiss me. Now, like I said, it's dark. I can't really see much of anything, but I can see barely just a little bit of lights out in the distance through the trees. And so I can kind of like, I mean, I feel him like move his head off of my shoulder. And then I can kind of see his head start to lean close to mine. And I jerked my head away and said like, what are you doing? And he just kind of was like, oh, and like let me go. And then we just kind of stood there and silently waited for more people to show up. So then we're just kind of standing there like beside the bus waiting for everyone else to come up for a while. And I was getting to the point where I kind of wanted to like start walking back to the house because that just happened. You know, I mean, I very clearly was not into it. I never had been, and it didn't matter. Like, even though I was very much like, no, like we're friends, like he tried to hold my hand on the bus earlier and I yanked it away and he got pissed off and then like later on still tried to kiss me. There was no reason for him to do any of that, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, eventually, it took a long time, but eventually we heard people coming out and people came out to the bus and were like, oh my god, you guys scared me, because like we were in the pitch black darkness, just the two of us, completely silent. Yeah. So anyway, after that we got on the bus. I did not sit with Todd at that point. I sat with one of the other like girls that I knew there, and we just talked the whole time. And we got back to the community center, and then my mom picked me up from there because I didn't really want to ride home with him. So yeah, anyway, that was the story time about Todd. There were more stories about him later on, and I could tell them. Let me know if you guys want me to. Leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up so I know. We're not friends anymore. That's not the only reason. Stuff happened after that, and I'm sure he still doesn't get why we're not friends. Like, he actually texted me like a couple months ago, something like that, maybe like half a year, honestly. Time's been blending together. But he texted me semi-recently and was like, hey, how's life? I found your YouTube channel. Like, I saw the video about why you changed your name, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really respond too much because he just makes me uncomfortable, and I don't really want anything to do with him. And I don't know how to tell him that even to this day. And I think it's just because like he did used to be one of my best friends. Like I legitimately considered him one of my best friends. And then like a bunch of shit like this happened. There was stuff before this, there was stuff after this. It was a whole bunch of things that just after a while I just stopped talking to him. So anyway, if you guys want to hear any of that, let me know. I'm gonna stop talking now. I am thirsty. You know, it's funny, whenever I decided to tell the story earlier, I forgot that it was such an uncomfortable experience. Like, I remember it being kind of uncomfortable. There's also a moment that I don't remember. Maybe it happened after the melting pot, but it was like, it was nighttime and we all went to like this like park thing right behind it or something where like, there was like a fountain, and then we all like got professional pictures taken or something, and he kept really wanting to go up and take a picture with me, and I think I took one with him, but like, I don't know. Anyway, that's not really important, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was weird to retell it because like I said, I forget that this even happened a lot, but whatever. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not. I am so close to 300. I don't know where I am by the time I'm uploading this video, but I am at 294 right now. I'm at a loss, guys. I'm so grateful and so happy, and I should do something for 300. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I already said that. Stay cordial, MeowChiatos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Why are you such a copycat?
Side note, it is really weird sitting on the floor and filming because this is not something I've ever done, but I honestly kind of really like it because I don't have to worry about like, you know, the bed making noise whenever I shift, and like, it just, I don't know, it's